What does China's increasingly aggressive behavior mean for the Asia-Pacific region? How are nations like Japan and Taiwan responding to these provocations, and could this lead to a significant shift in regional power dynamics? China's tough stance in the Asia-Pacific has fueled growing regional tensions, with its Coast Guard vessels frequently entering disputed waters to challenge neighboring countries. These activities mirror the pattern of harassment seen around Taiwan's outer islands, including Kinmen and Panggu. In these sensitive areas, Chinese vessels regularly intrude into restricted waters, further heightening the strain. However, in the face of this escalating threat, Japan has made a bold and strategic move that has disrupted the region's balance of power, leaving China reeling. Japan has positioned itself as a sword of justice in the region, stepping up against China's assertive dominance. This shift became particularly evident when Japan and Taiwan conducted their first ever joint naval exercise, signaling a new era of cooperation that Beijing did not anticipate. As China continues to assert itself as the ruler of the region under its One China principle, this unexpected collaboration between Japan and Taiwan has dramatically upset the regional balance. For Beijing, it's not just an issue of territorial dominance, but a broader challenge to its perceived authority. The joint naval exercise was a significant turning point. In response to China's harassment of Taiwan and its targeting of the Senkaku Islands, an area of critical concern for Japan, Tokyo adopted a more active defense posture. This culminated in the unprecedented naval drills, which saw Taiwan deploying its patrol ship Patrol 9 and Japan contributing its patrol ship Sagami. During the exercise, the two nations collaborated on missions like rescue coordination and reconnaissance, demonstrating a newfound alignment. This partnership was an unmistakable challenge to China's claim over international waters, as the cooperation between Japan and Taiwan symbolized a unified stand against Beijing's dominance. Unsurprisingly, China's reaction was swift and intense. The Chinese Foreign Ministry labeled the joint exercise a violation of its red lines and accused Japan of undermining the One China principle. Beijing is reportedly preparing a diplomatic note asserting that any military coordination between Japan and Taiwan jeopardizes regional stability. Yet Taiwan has remained steadfast, continuing to bolster its defense capabilities in the face of Chinese aggression. Taiwan's determination was particularly evident during its 2024 Hankuang military exercises. Unlike previous years, these drills featured a surprise format designed to simulate the unpredictability of real-world conflict. Troops were not informed of the location, timing, or weapon systems involved in the simulated attacks. This approach aimed to prepare Taiwan's military for the uncertainty of potential war scenarios, especially given its rigid, Soviet-style command structure. Recognizing the risks of centralized command centers being targeted, Taiwanese experts advocate for a more decentralized system, enabling local units to operate autonomously. This strategy mirrors the lessons learned from Ukraine's resistance to Russian aggression, where decentralized operations proved to be a formidable defense tactic. Taiwan's message to Beijing is clear. It is prepared to resist intimidation and is actively improving its military readiness. Live-fire drills on Taiwan's outer islands serve not only as preparation, but also as psychological warfare, aiming to shatter China's perception of the island as vulnerable. While Taiwan is taking these steps, it is not alone in its efforts. The United States and its Western allies have also ramped up their presence in the Asia-Pacific, supporting nations like Taiwan and Japan against the growing Chinese threat. Japan, in particular, has played a pivotal role in countering this aggression. This year, Japan hosted large-scale military exercises that included European air forces from France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. These joint training sessions with Japan's air self-defense forces reflect the increasing interest of NATO in the Asia-Pacific region, driven by concerns over both Russia's actions in Ukraine and China's growing assertiveness. Japan's strategic location has made it a key player in this alliance, providing logistical support to its Western allies while simultaneously addressing its long-standing disputes with Russia over the Northern Territories. The perceived parallels between Russia's aggression in Europe and the potential for similar actions by China in Asia have prompted Japan to deepen its cooperation with NATO. This partnership allows Japan to play a more prominent role in the US-led defense framework, further solidifying its position as a regional leader. However, these military activities have provoked strong reactions from both Russia and China. Moscow issued a sharp protest to Japan over its collaboration with NATO forces, while Beijing condemned the joint Japan-Taiwan exercises as a major provocation, linking them directly to Taiwan's independence movements. China, for its part, has not remained idle. It has intensified its grey zone tactics in the region, arming Coast Guard vessels and increasing patrols near disputed areas. In response, nations like Japan and South Korea are exploring new strategies to counter these moves. Meanwhile, Taiwan has emerged as the epicenter of this military revival, with this year's Han Kuang exercises testing the island's ability to operate under conditions where communication infrastructure may be compromised. The drills focused on decentralizing command structures, allowing for more flexible and autonomous responses to potential Chinese attacks. Despite these preparations, Taiwan faces significant challenges. Its military still struggles with reconciling its Soviet-era heritage with the more modern, NATO-style framework it seeks to adopt. Senior researchers note that while Taiwan is making progress in transparency and rapid decision-making, the diversity of its weaponry, much of which is acquired from abroad, poses logistical challenges. However, these efforts are crucial as Taiwan aims to strengthen its domestic military production capabilities. Projects like drone manufacturing and tank production have added to China's concerns, as these developments signal Taiwan's move towards self-reliance in defense. Beijing views these advancements as a declaration of de facto independence, leading to increased cyber attacks on Taiwanese industries and growing pressure on its business community. Amid these tensions, China has also strengthened its alliance with Russia. The two nations recently conducted extensive naval and air exercises in the Asia-Pacific, showcasing their growing military cooperation. These drills, which included landing simulations and missile tests, were designed to intimidate the United States and its allies. The approach of Chinese and Russian bombers to the US Air Defense Identification Zone near Alaska has further deepened mutual distrust, prompting the US to step up its own patrols in the region. NATO has also taken notice of these developments. The organization's Secretary General has argued that Russia and China's actions are coordinated efforts to challenge Western dominance. In response, the US and its allies are increasing their presence in strategic areas like the Arctic, aiming to counter this growing partnership. Meanwhile, regional players like Japan, South Korea, Australia, and India are striving to maintain a delicate balance in their relationships with China, even as tensions continue to rise. The evolving geopolitical landscape highlights the deepening divide between the East and the West. As Russia and China grow closer, nations like Taiwan and Japan are stepping up their roles on the global stage with the support of NATO and the United States. At the center of this storm lies the groundbreaking collaboration between Japan and Taiwan, which has set a precedent for future alliances in the region. With a new round of diplomacy on the horizon, the Asia-Pacific remains a critical battleground for the competing interests of these global powers.